How's it going, everybody? I've now climbed through this Kyle Tower about 5 times. I've gathered a lot of tips along the way. I've talked to a lot of people, especially here on Twitch, which is what you see right beside me right here, so keep an eye there if you want some hot tips from other people as well. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the characters I think are very important to prep. Then we're going to go over to some problematic nodes, some problematic sections, talk about how we can circumvent that issue to help people get as far into the Kyle Tower as possible. And then finally, we're going to end talking about the legendary characters that you could use if you want to save on certain uniques or you just have certain people built up already. And then we're going to finish off with the bio-villain section, basically doing the exact same thing. So the first character that I want to build up, I want Skrull. I need him to be 1 turn away from his ultimate. Besides that, I really like prepping Omega Red, and I'll prep Doom as well. I don't really need to prep Doom. He's kind of just like a luxury choice. But if I have Morgan at Gear Tier 18, I want her to go into the final node with all of her abilities available, and Doom can help her do that. Skrull only needs to take 1 turn. He's going to use his special in the first villain bio section, and then he's going to have his ultimate available after that, so that's important. Omega Red just needs to do the 1 turn. And finally, Doom just needs to do the 1 turn as well. So these 3 characters are now set up. So now let's prep the next set of characters. One that is very, very important is going to be the Red Hulk. Red Hulk is a very, very easy character to prep. So let's go ahead and grab Red Hulk. And we'll follow that up with Archangel. Where's Archangel? He's pretty big. He's Gear Tier 18. There he is. And he's going to basically give energy right out the gate. Just so much of it. So, besides that, we can't really bring anybody else in because Archangel pings are just going to crush. So instead of look for the next character, I'm going to prep on the next wave after this, which is going to be Vol. But you know what? Vol has a tied speed with Archangel, so that would not be a great idea. Let's just bring in somebody who's going to be a bit slower. It's just Hulk, for no reason. There's no reason to bring in Hulk. Archangel is going to be giving the speed to Red Hulk. That's the only thing that matters. Alright, let's just do the basic over here on the bullseye. And now we'll do the Archangel basic right here. That's going to be 5 energy directly into Red Hulk's hands. And now he's fine. He's ready for his ultimate. And then the last person we're going to want to prep, I talked about it a little bit there. We're going to prep Vol. Vol is going to be a very easy character to prep because we're going to use Thanos. Yes, Thanos gives energy to adjacent cosmic allies whenever there's a death. So let's go ahead. I want to find Thanos. He doesn't have a tag in the game. I think he's around 300k power. I really wish they would give him a tag already. There he is. Then let's grab our Asgardian friends here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in Vol adjacent. I'm going to put Thor Infinity War, but he only needs to take 1 turn. So I'm just going to throw him over here. He doesn't need the energy from Thanos. And we're going to go in like this. If you wanted to prep a different character, say if you saw some awesome options in the chat over here, go ahead and do that. Besides this, I don't really think I need anybody else prepped. I've already done the 3 nodes. And honestly, Thor Infinity War, we could also prep him in the Avengers section. That is also going to be an autoplay section for anybody with a built-up roster. So it's nothing crazy there. Alright, so that's going to be it for the characters that I like to prep. I still have a full node. There is one character that I toyed with the idea of prepping, and I did it, and it had some success. Maybe it's something you're going to want to do with yourself as well. And that was basically Cyclops. So what I would do is I would prep Cyclops, and I would go and grab the Uncanny member, I would grab Magic, and then I would grab a pre-taunt, so I'm going to go ahead and grab Drax. Let's go for Guardians. We'll grab Drax, pull him over here, and basically I just get some charges on the Cyclops this way. He doesn't get up to like 40 charges or anything like that, so something crazy. If you didn't need to prep other characters, like say you didn't want to prep Doom, you didn't care to prep Omega Red because you're going to open up with this special, which is a valid way to do this. Maybe you didn't care to prep Vol because your team is as big as mine, then that's fine. You could do all that and you can prep Cyclops over the duration of a few nodes. You can absolutely do that. That is a viable strategy. In which case, you probably want to bring in Thanos and put him beside the Magic so that he's always giving energy to her and she could use her special on every turn. But it's kind of difficult to get him up to 40 charges. I did it once. It was fun. It erases one wave that we might have problems with on the X-Men stage, but it seems a little much for what we can do on the X-Men stage. So that's it for the characters we're going to prep, guys. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the nodes that are basically on autoplay. What I'm going to say is, while I'm on this journey, if I have Fury Gear Tier 18, I'm not using him on the global skill section. Basically, if I have any legendary character, any X-Men character, any villain mutant character that might somehow fit into one of these stages, if I'm going to use them later because they have the right gear tier, I won't use them on these early stages because it's just free, it's autoplay, it's meaningless content at this point, right? That particularly is true when I think about Fury, and when I think about Morgan. Yes, we're going to use her on the Global Mystic section, but we're not going to use her abilities. I'm not going to bore you with this footage here. I'm going to fast forward to some of the problematic nodes people have talked to me about. Alright, so I'll see you in just a few minutes. Alright guys, so this is node 19. I have heard some rumblings people are having a hard time with this node. I'm not sure at what point they're having a hard time, but if you prepped your Vol and you brought her into D86, you're going to one-shot the entire first wave, negating those revives, and pretty much one-shotting Dorm. And if you don't one-shot Dorm, you don't have any buffs on your Infinity War Thor, and he's just going to wipe the floor with the Dorm. You're not going to have to deal with his passive on Val's next turn, and you just kind of wreck from there. Or if you have a 7-red Val, I think she just one-shots the Dorm. You move on to the next wave, and Infinity War Thor gets done. Alternatively, if you don't have a Jack That team, you don't have Gear Tier 18 on any of your Asgardians, what you can do, because there's no Gear Tier requirement on this, you can do 2 burn attacks, alright? Your first burn attack, you want to go in with Hela and 2 strong characters. You want to try and pull all the way up to the Dorm ultimate. And then the follow attack, you want to go in with Loki and your 2 weakest Asgardians. You want to do damage to the Dorm so he's not at 100% life. You want to die, and then you go in, and they don't have to deal with the revives at that point. You will have to deal with Dormammu charges, but it's okay, because it's not like we have offense up on spawn on our Val. And then you're able to bypass the revives that way, especially if you can't one-shot them, and then you can go like that. I'm going to just go ahead and one-shot this for sake of time, but yeah, if I wanted to do it, and also, all my Asgardians are so big, I can't really do the Loki burn, but I did walk somebody through that. If I wanted to do the burn attack, I'd go in with Beta Ray Bill. He gives too much buffs. I don't want to go in on the follow-up attack to the Dormammu and get all that flipped. I would go in with Beta Ray Bill, Sylvie, Teen Loki. I'd separate them out. I would pull as many Dorm abilities as possible, and then I would follow that up with Loki and my 2 weakest. Probably not Sif, probably not Valkyrie because of her passive. Probably Thor and Heimdall. I would go in, get the passive attack on the Dormammu, make sure he's at 100% life, and then do the full-out attack. Alright? You know what? Nah, screw it. Let's go for it. Let's try and show what we preach. Let's go in here. We're going to try and pull as much as possible. If your Bifrost team is as big as mine, there is actually another world where you get to pull all the way up to the Dormammu ultimate. And even after he heals up, you get to do extra damage to him. And then you don't have to do another follow-up attack. You just finish at that. So we want to do as much damage to Dorm as possible. There's the slow on him. He's already charged. We do more and more damage. We didn't use any Beta Ray Bill abilities along the way. And we're gonna, is this gonna kill him? Hopefully not. We've done so much damage to him at this point that when he ults, he's not gonna get a full heal. I really hope he doesn't die, because that would just completely ruin the purpose of this. Of showing the burn attack. If he dies, that's obviously too much. Ah, damn it, I did an attack on him. My characters are too big to showcase this. I apologize. I did walk somebody on a smaller account through this. They were able to beat the node that way. So do that. Your strongest team to pull all the way up to the Dormammu ultimate. Follow it up with Loki, your 2 weakest characters, to make sure Dorm drops below 100% life. He does have drain, so you can't let him drain them back up, right? So you want to get him low enough that he doesn't have 100% life, and follow it up with Vol, Infinity War Thor, and any other character will do. Because I had Beta Ray prepped from earlier, I'll just use Beta Ray Bill here. And because it's on the one-shot, Dormammu's not charged, so I don't mind walking in with all these buffs. Yeah, so here's the thing. If you haven't Gear Tier 18 your Vol yet, you might as well. You're going to need it for Dark Dimension 6 to get Skrull anyway. And you see here what happens. We completely negate the first wave. If we have the ultimate prepped, we got all the revives off. And if we don't kill her there, what you could do if you want to try and one-shot this with just these 2 characters, go in with Vol, Hela, and Thor Infinity War. Thor Infinity War goes after Dormammu, but not if we've had some Gregs die along the way. Greg can die from the Death Pool. Greg can die from the Cersei. That's another way you can try and one-shot this at a lower power. That's a little bit trickier, though. So I ult with Thor Infinity War, you see, it's just, everything's over now. It's all done. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next problematic note. I hope this helped you. Let me know in the comment section below if you're struggling with a burn attack, and then maybe you can send me your teams on Discord, and I can try and help you. But I am also helping a lot of people while I'm doing this, so if I don't get you right away, please don't take offense. Alright, so here we are on the final Spider-Verse tech lane. This is what I've used for all 3 nodes. The reason I'm bringing this up is because some people are shooting themselves in the foot A lot of people have gear tiered 18 their Green Goblin because of how good he is, and you want to carry him into the legendary section fully prepped. So I'm going to show you how I do this now with these characters. Please note, all these characters, well, not all these characters, Vulture and Doc Ock Vulture and Green Goblin are geared to 18. Doc Ock is 17, and these very high diamond level characters. But what I do to start it off is I save my Vulture ultimate from the previous node. I get a nice rewind in there. I might reset until Vulture gets a crit, and then I'll use the special from Green Goblin to erase the Morgan Le Fay. And from here on out, I do not use any more abilities from that Green Goblin, all right? We need Green Goblin to come in with all of his abilities available for the Legendary section, especially if we don't have Morgan Le Fay. In this video, I'm going to show you the Legendary section absent Morgan Le Fay. If you do have Morgan Le Fay, then you can get away with a lot of other things besides your Green Goblin, but I know a lot of people don't want to use that Osmium, okay? So this is going to be a way to save you your Osmium. Make sure your Green Goblin is coming into the next nodes nice and prepared. So I'm going to do the basic over here. We'll go ahead and we'll basic on the Mr. Negative. If we can get him dead, he's very annoying. Alright, we'll take out the Mr. Negative. There he goes. I'll do the basic over here on the Morbius. I'll take out the Agatha. I guess we'll basic on the Morbius here. We don't have any strikers, so unfortunately Voodoo gets an attack off. You see, it does very little damage comparatively, though. And now we're good to be able to use our Green Goblin in the Legendary section. I just wanted to quickly show that because I had done an attempt where I just, like, turned my brain off and ended up with no abilities from Green Goblin available. That's bad. That's a bad thing to do. Alright, so we just ripped through the Global Mystic section with these three characters, but we prepped Doom earlier. This is the strategy you definitely want to employ if you have your Morgan at Gear Tier 18. She's super helpful. Take Striker off your Weaver. Make sure your Morgan has the higher damage stat so that Morgan goes for this ride. There is a little bit of RNG on who the Red Hulk puts his special on if you don't have any Weaver charges. We got through the other nodes very cleanly, so we do have charges. Let's go ahead and take out the Absorbing Man. Oh, looks like all the other characters went first, but it went on Weaver. Looks like she resisted it. And looks like my Weaver actually has some diamonds on her on this account. So I would just reset. I would make sure that Weaver got the offense down. Maybe I wouldn't do that special from Weaver. And then what I do is I use all my Doom attacks, including the special here. Morgan goes for the ride. Not everyone dies. You don't even have to do the Doom special if you don't want to. In fact, let's just play this differently. Let's show how to do it so you want to get your Morgan ready. That way, on the previous node, you don't have to worry about holding back on those Eternals, on the Nova and all that. Morgan can just carry you through that section, and then you can re-prep her using the Doom here. You know what I'll do? We'll leave Weaver in there. That's fine. So we just want the Weaver to get offense down here. I'll use the basic. I'll use the basic here as well. The speed bars don't make sense. Why is Red Hulk slower than the other two? That doesn't make any sense. There's the offense down on Weaver. Now Morgan is still not coming for the ride. That can't be right. I would just take Weaver out at this point. Anyway, then you get 3 turns on your Morgan. You would be able to prep her. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. Just take Weaver out. You don't need Weaver for this. This is so weird. What is wrong with the speed bar on this mode? Did they just choose random speeds for characters? Kind of feels like they just chose random speeds for characters in this mode. Alright, anyway. Thanks for scuffing the video by having random speeds and by this offense down Weaver getting the turns from Doom. Makes no sense, but okay. Prep your Morgan there with Doom. Take out whoever has higher damage than her. As you saw, you'll easily get through the node. Very, very easily. Alright, for the Villain Mutant section, I don't think many people are struggling with this, but Jutsi did have a great suggestion on a character to bring instead of Dark Beast or instead of Omega Red, and that is Nemesis. I haven't done this node, I haven't tried this node with him at all yet, but I just used him on the previous 2 Villain Mutant nodes, and it's been gangbusters. So let's go ahead, let's grab that offense up, defense up off the dorm. Apparently Archangel's going to one-shot him. That is a Gear Tier 18 Archangel. Let's use the ultimate. And let's go ahead. I guess we got to one-shot the Wong. Unfortunately, I would have loved to one-shot that Agatha. But we'll take what we can get. We got the ultimate coming in hot. So Agatha lost her first life. Morgan is now dead. You can see the value of Nemesis. Just with his splash damage that he's putting all over the place is crazy. Now we're not going to be able to use Apocalypse again no matter what. So let's just use the special here. Keep our Archangel nice and healthy. What is Archangel at? We'll never know what he's at for energy, but we do know that he at least got one there. And with his low cooldowns, that we're going to call that good. All right, let's get on to the next section. All right, so this is the last hero tech node in that section. Now, what the team I've been using, because I don't have Iron Man Infinity War, I don't have that Osmium, the same reason we're not going to use Morgan, I just don't have the Osmium to spare. I ended up using Rescue Kestrel. That's the two that you absolutely need to have, all right? They're the best for this section by far. The Rescue sustain is crazy. The Kestrel damage obviously is crazy. Then you could actually use Iron Man Infinity War if you haven't done. You could use Darkhawk if you haven't done, or even Ironheart. I really like Darkhawk. He grew on me even more as a character just from this mode because of the energy from the basics. So you're actually able to go from node to node a lot safer using Darkhawk than Iron Man Infinity, which I think is great. Now what we need to do here is we need to kill this Green Goblin in one shot, otherwise we get rewound and we'll fall apart. If your Kestrel is gear tier 18, I got 2 diamonds. I think someone told me they were able to do this with 1 diamond. You could use the special as a raider until you get a good crit on the Green Goblin. We only got 1 crit there, so he actually survived, but then the Raider ISO took him out. If not, you can use the ultimate from your Kestrel, wait until it is not blocked by the Green Goblin, and if it crits, then that'll kill the Green Goblin. You then have to eat all the damage from the Lizard, but beggars can't be choosers. If you got to do it, you got to do it, right? All right, let's do the ultimate here. That'll get a little bit more damage on that Lizard before he steals all our buffs. Alright, our Kestrel has her ultimate up. We're going to take that Lizard out. You know what? We're not going to use the ultimate there. It seems kind of wasteful. Let's just use the basic. Yeah, we got extra damage from doing that. The rewind on Kestrel is probably the best thing that could happen to us. Let's do one of these. Start working on this Darkhawk before he does his ultimate and flips everything. The ultimate here would for sure kill him. I'm going to do the special because I'm a greedy bugger. I don't want to take out that Karnak? No, Craven at the same time. And there you go. So we're now through the hero tech section onto the very difficult sections. And you know what? We might do every single node from X-Men till stage 40. So enjoy. Alright, so we're going to be starting the X-Men section. You need gear tier 17 on these characters. Now, the good news and the bad news is you don't need Nightcrawler to get through this. Jutsi was telling me he was able to get through it with Cyclops, but it took a bazillion resets, so even prepping Cyclops a little bit will help you out in that case. But what I'm here to tell you is I was able to get through this section with a 4-star Nightcrawler, which wasn't exactly free-to-play friendly. Like, I didn't buy any offers on this account, but we did core his orb a few times. And I've been told by friends that they were able to get through with a 3-star Nightcrawler. He's just an absolute unit of a character. He's definitely top 5, possibly top 3 character. So if you're hesitant to put gear on your 3-star Nightcrawler for whatever reason, stop. Don't worry about that. Put that gear on him, and you'll definitely be able to use him, Gambit, and Rogue to get through this section. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get rid of this Brawn real quick. And after that, I'm basically going to use no more abilities. We can obviously spam the Gambit special. My Gambit is 3 diamonds now, right? Because I already beat... I beat the mode, so I got the 3 diamonds. Before, I believe this Gambit was 1 diamond. I did upgrade him for Cosmic Crucible. I don't regret that at all. But I was still able to get through this node, even with a much weaker Gambit. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's use the basics so we can get through that Madeline. And then we'll gang up on this Abomination. So nothing crazy here. Control the Red Hulk with the stun from Nightcrawler. Control the Brawn with the special from Rogue. Then spam Gambit special. Use the basic if you need to get some off adjacent damage like I just did earlier. And then basic down the last character. Nothing crazy there. Alright, so heading into the next X-Men node, it's going to get a little bit more difficult from there on. Particularly the last, like, it's not difficult. It's not. With the Gear Tier 18 Gambit, who I know a lot of people are investing heavily in, with the Gear Tier 18 Nightcrawler, he's Gear Tier 18 actually, at 4 stars, and a Gear Tier 17 Rogue, it's not been very difficult to get through. But we can talk through some strategy nonetheless. Alright, let's let this node start. So what I like to do here is I definitely want to stun the Kang. Kang is a glass cannon. He does a crap ton of damage, but he's easily killed. I like using the Rogue ultimate on this Omega Red. Unfortunately, I would just reset it at this point. In fact, let's go do that. I'll reset it until Rogue does not get resisted on that Omega Red, which is not something that should happen. Let's get back in there. And that's the beauty of this mode, guys. Do not hesitate to reset your fight. There's no penalty. There's no efficiency for this. It's just get as far as you can. Every single cell that you clear is an increase in the rewards that you get, which I think is a fantastic way to do a game mode. It resisted again. This time we got the defense up off of him. We'll let it ride. We'll see if we can get it done. But yeah, you can just reset until you're blue in the face. He didn't land his trauma or his ability block, so I'm fine letting that stand. I'll use the Nightcrawler ultimate at this point, flip a bunch of their buffs into debuffs, do a bunch of damage. And from now on, we're back to basically doing what we were doing earlier, which is just basic people to death. Focus on the targets that are easiest to kill. I didn't notice that she had dodge. If I knew that she had dodge, I would not have went for her. I guess we'll go for this clump over here instead. Let's get rid of that Omega Red so he doesn't use his ultimate. It's a devastating ability for sure. We'll go for this Lady Deathstrike, who we just took the dodges off earlier. Remember, Nightcrawler does peel off the death proofs, which is nice. We do another special here on the clump of 3. People are just going, they're falling out like crazy. And an important note is that separating your characters the way I have it separated here is really helpful in this particular cell, because those Lady Deathstrikes, they want to chain like crazy, right? But if you don't have anybody adjacent, they have no one to chain to, the threat level of them is significantly decreased. Let's make sure he dies here. We're continuing to use basics. We're probably going to have everybody's abilities all available. So Gambit is completely available. Rogue is completely available. I'm not sure about Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is still far from his ultimate, but that's fine. He's mostly there to do his special, give speed bar, get a good stun out there, and go from there. He'll probably have his ult by the end of the next node, and it'll be used to finish up the node. What up, Sumya? How's it going? Hope you had a good day. All right, so here we go. So one thing you should note, guys, is all the apocalypses in the Kyle Tower are unempowered. They will not start with their ultimate, and when they do use their ultimate, they're not going to get 100% speed bar. They're going to get 60% speed bar, so it opens up the door for you to be able to get yourself safe, all right? So what I like to do here is I like to use the special on the Archangel, not even to land the stun. I don't care about the stun. I just want the damage on him. And then we're going to save Rogue abilities. We're going to go ahead and... Actually, no, we can go ahead and throw the ultimate. Let's get as much damage out there as we can. We'll target the Dark Beast. Maybe we get lucky. We can punch him to death here. Not quite. Oh, we did. We got the Ice Attack to finish him off. So now I'll use the Gambit special. This is going to give us speed up. It's going to let that Archangel bleed out. If that Archangel doesn't bleed out, I'll probably reset it. Ah, there we go. There's the ping damage we're hoping for. So now we're going to go for this Morgan Le Fay. I'd love to get a controlling effect on her. This should do it right here. Bam. So now she's kind of a non-factor. Let's go ahead and ult with the Gambit. We're about to eat a big Apocalypse ultimate, but remember, he does not get 100% speed bar. This is going to play a big factor into how we get through this node. Let's finish off the Scarlet Witch. Bam, bam. In a perfect world, what happens at this point is one of our characters gets dropped below 50% life. That activates the Rogue Taunt. And then she eats the Falcon Punch. She's going to eat it anyway, and we go from here. So yeah, I'm really happy that the Apocalypses are not empowered. I think that would have made it where we had to have more mutant characters of Gear Tier 17 and done burn attacks and stuff like that. I'm glad they went this route. So that's how you can get through this section with a 4-star Nightcrawler. I really hope that helps you out. Let me know in the comment section below if you're struggling. I know people also got it done with a 3-star Nightcrawler, but still Gear Tier 18, and their gambits for Gear Tier 18 as well. After the X-Men section, this is going to lead us to the Legendary section. The Legendary section is kind of a place where a lot of people are dropping off because they don't want to invest in the old Horsemen characters. They're definitely the MVPs. If you can have Morgan Le Fay and Archangel with you, if you've already built them up for whatever reasons, they absolutely just trash this section, along with Red Hulk, who's probably the only Horseman that's worth building up at this point. But I figure I'll show a little bit of that, but I'm actually going to focus more on an alternative team with all the new legendary characters that gets through it quite easily. Like, I one-shot the nodes, but I could see how sometimes it got a little hairy. Maybe I could have lost. This is the Horseman tackling the first node. You can see it's just absolutely devastating. I even had to speed the footage up because it just... You use the abilities you have when you get them, and everything dies, and then Archangel, with his passive, just fills all your energy back up. So you're able to go from node to node with all your cooldowns available, and you just kind of put in work. You get it done. So on my account that did have Morgan done, I was able to do this. Easy, free, but we wanted an alternative, right? So an alternative with some of the newer characters. We got Doc Ock as a healer, Black Cat as a striker, and Green Goblin as a raider. These characters, it's even a little bit better because they are both 5 red star, 7 yellow star, the Goblin and the Black Cat. Actually, no, sorry, this Black Cat is 7 red. And then the Doc Ock, I believe he's actually 3 diamonds, so that's going to skew this a little bit. He's mostly there for the healing, though, and he'll do that kind of crazy healing even without those diamonds. So what I found I wanted to do here is I wanted to rewind the Rogue with the Black Cat basic. I wanted to save that special for a more meaningful target. And then I wanted to use the special from Green Goblin as well onto that Rogue. So we're just rewinding her all the way, and we're stalling out a little bit. We got our summon up. We're getting our Goblin giving the pings to the enemy team when they're taking turns. Doc Ock is feeding him charges. Doc Ock is crucial for this to work because the Goblin makes the... Or sorry, Doc Ock is crucial for this to work because the Doc Ock makes the Goblin get just a whack load of charges, and he just puts in work. Obviously, with the summon, we don't have to worry about those cooldowns whatsoever. You see that Goblin passive peeled off the dodge from Nightcrawler. So he's able to go in, hit the rewind, which puts trauma. That trauma is so important because it stops the Nightcrawler's passive from taking all his buffs off. And now you see we're stuck in this situation. I throw a basic because I don't want to use that ultimate near the end of this matchup. And we are, believe it or not, very much near the end of this matchup. So we're putting in a bunch of work. That Nightcrawler is actually going to get an attack off. I think if I just kept resetting this, I could have got it to the point where he didn't get attack off. I believe he gets it off just short a little bit of damage here. No, never mind. I definitely go in and finish him. Okay, that must have been on a separate run where he had survived. So he dies right away, and then I just start controlling this Gambit because he's obviously a problem if we let him be a problem. I do the special mostly to cleanse the Green Goblin. We give ourselves a bunch of regens. Now that's not going to matter because the pings from Gambit do put heal block on you. So unless you have immunity, it's not going to help you. But it defaults to the Black Cat because Doc Ock is giving 40% life to the Green Goblin. So even though Black Cat has so much more red stars, Green Goblin still has more life. And Black Cat takes the hits so well, and she's just able to kind of carry on into the next node. Even if she's at lower life, she'll get it back. So you see, we get through this node quite handily, and we go from there. So after this, I want to show you another alternative to the next node. So I'm showing you, this is the main team I think people should use if they don't want to invest in Horsemen, but I'm showing you the alternatives that I had to use on my other accounts because I had certain characters built up. I did not have Doc Ock built on one of my accounts. So on this account, I go in with Omega Red, Green Goblin, and Nova. At first, I thought this was just going to be a burn attack, and then I was going to follow up with, on that account, I had Red Hulk, Archangel, and I was going to use Black Cat for the cleanup, then I was going to use that team for the last node. So I had these 3 guys. I just want to do a burn attack, and then all of a sudden, you know, with all their abilities up, they just start absolutely trouncing the node. So this, I think, is a great option, because it's kind of, the Legendary sections, this dance between beating that first node healthily enough because of the Gambit pings, having the cooldowns to go into the second node, which is why if you have the 3 Horsemen, they can just go from node to node because Morgan is just draining like crazy. They're getting all their ability energy from Archangel, and they can go node to node. If you don't have that Morgan, it's a lot tougher because if the drain is missing, Archangel can die, which is why I needed a team like this, and then I was able to go on. So it's this dance to go from node to node to node. But I'll go in here. I do think this is the team people should bring. It's the highest sustain and the most value you'll get currently from legendary characters. So you see Black Cat's a little bit on the weaker side, but because we never use that special, we're able to stun the Green Goblin. It takes his charges away, but it also does a stun trauma. From there, I'm going to go ahead and do my rewind, flipping those defense ups. We'll now do a basic. What you want to do here is we want to save that Doc Ock ultimate. We didn't use it on the first node, and so we're able to save it for when the Black Cat drops in, which is going to strip all of her death proofs, letting us rewind her, but also just letting us kill her faster, mostly, right? So I'm going to go ahead. We have Striker on Black Cat for this exact reason. Do the double rewind. Doc Ock comes in. He flips basically everything. And then Goblin's able to put in work. We can do the Terminator rewind on the Black Cat now to stop her stun trauma from coming at us. Lizard's going to be a problem. Lizard's going to steal a bunch of stuff. And this is where the Doc Ock is like, hey, by the way, I'm probably the best healer in the game right now. So here, everybody, have full life. And because Doc Ock brings a summon in, you can RNG your way through. This has happened to me on the very first attack. I guess I was lucky. Where the Spider Slayer goes for the summon. And so it's the summon that eats all those crazy hits from the Superior 6. I would like to think Doc Ock would take those hits really well because he can block. So maybe if it goes for him, he would survive as well. But 25% chance if you need to keep resetting until Spider Slayer goes for the minion. I think it was pretty clear that it's easy to get to that point. So it's very little RNG to fight through. So this is how this team would have tackled the second node. So what you're seeing here with the much clearer footage, because it's not pulled off of VOD, going from attack to attack to attack, I think is, yeah, it's so convincing on what you could do. All right, and for the final node, so I'll go in with the Horsemen team first, the 3-piece here. And you can see just how devastating it is. We open up with the Red Hulk ultimate. Like we said, we prepped the Red Hulk for this reason. And then Archangel, he's able just to one-shot the Quicksilver. And from there, it's just over. We should probably be focusing on the Morgan here. Sorry, not the Morgan. The Hela here. So that Zombie Iron Man can't respawn. His mind control is the most dangerous thing on this node after you take out Quicksilver. It's going to get my Morgan killed. But it doesn't matter. As long as Archangel plus either Morgan or Red Hulk is alive. So whoever gets killed from the mind control, as long as it's not both of them, then you're fine. So it's kind of funny. You put in work. The Horsemen are a crazy team if you have them built up. They have the most synergy, and then Doc Ock, Green Goblin have synergy between the two of them as well, right? So we're gonna go in here. I throw the ultimate just because I don't want to not use it, even though the match is about to end. And Archangel finishes off. So Horsemen, very, very powerful. Let's get back to what I think is probably the better economical option, that 3-piece we've been using. And this one, this is where this team isn't as good as the Horsemen. It's not as automatic, I would say. But I think it took me 2 attempts. Which I mean, it's automatic enough. But again, it's that 3-diamond Doc Ock, right? You'll have to have a gear to 18, so you're going to have a big Doc Ock regardless. But what happens here is it gets pretty dangerous. Like, if the Quicksilver goes for the same person twice, you're obviously going to have to reset. But this mode, that's what this mode is. This mode is just doing a bunch of resets until you get the results that you want. I was concerned about the Zombie Iron Man getting a bunch of people killed with this team. Just didn't happen. We have the stun from Black Cat, so that's going to stop the Quicksilver from doing his ultimate, which would probably kill you. So you want to make sure you have that Black Cat ultimate no further than the second turn following that first node, or sorry, following that middle node, the second node. You can't rewind the Quicksilver, but you can sure as heck do a lot of damage to him. And he's the kill target, right? Once he's dead, the biggest threat to you is yourself at that point with all the bleeds, but it is what it is. So we'll summon here. That's going to cleanse the Goblin. There's a lot of synergy there, so we're feeding into the synergy that certain legendary characters have. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Feed into the synergy. If you got the Horsemen, great. If not, this is another awesome team that you could use, and you can see the results kind of speak for themselves. Once that once that Quicksilver is dead, then once that Hela is dead, this node is basically over. The Weaver on the last node you think would be a problem, but you would think wrong, right? Because if the Weaver doesn't come on spawn with the 2099, like she's not doing that immediate stun with trauma, she's not immediately getting her charges up. If you have the opportunity to stop her at all, which you very much will, she's a non-factor. And that's exactly what happens here. And that'll lead us into the final section, the villain bio section. So the villain bio section, you need Skrull. Do you need a big Skrull? I'm not sure. There's a couple damage checks in the strategy that I'm going to show you here, in the strategy that I think a lot of people are using, that maybe only the big boy Skrull can reach, because those star levels, it's a big difference, right? So I'd be interested to know in the comment sections if anybody got through with a small Skrull. Alright, so before we head into the legendary nodes, I'm going to show how I got through the legendary nodes because I couldn't bring up Venom. But we need to talk about Venom, okay? Without it being said, I think we all understand Skrull is necessary for this. Venom is the second best villain bio character for this. And there's lots of reasons to bring up Venom. First of all, he can make it through all 3 nodes. He's going to be very impactful on all 3 nodes. And he's going to be really good in the Hive Mind raid team. If you have your Venom super giant big, he's going to spread everything off the initial attack. Everything he spreads, all the bleeds he spreads, becomes his bleeds. With his turn meter that he's gaining and his speed stat that he's gaining, he's a very, very, very good character. He's going to be a character you want to invest big for the Hive Mind team. So don't feel like you're wasting your alien spores on Venom here. But if you're in the mindset that you don't want to use Venom, you'd rather use other characters that you maybe have built up for Rebirth, maybe you built them up for Superior 6, maybe you built them up for Master of Evil. There's been a lot of Master of Evil events where it's like, hey, Moonstone and Titania, if you have them at Gear to 18, you'll get extra points. Well, I'm going to be able to help you here. I'm going to show an example of that. If showing Venom is just crazy. It's Venom, Skrull, plus 3 losers that just die, and you don't care. And Venom and Skrull just kind of clean up house, which is really cool. But I think a lot of people have already shown that. So let me show something different here. So on this first attack, we're going to go in with Moonstone and Winter Soldier. Yeah. So this is a 2-diamond Winter Soldier, but I've also done it with a 7 red star Winter Soldier. Remember, I got the 2 accounts. And I thought this was really cool. So you want to use the special here on the Apocalypse. I switched my Skrull to a Striker for this particular matchup. If you push the Apocalypse below yellow, you just back out, you restart. Because if he gets that speed bar, it doesn't work. So I put a defense down on the Rogue, and then I'm going to try and get those death proofs off of Agatha. Because this is a 2-diamond Winter Soldier, it just kills the Agatha. My 7 red star Winter Soldier did not kill the Agatha, but it got the death proofs off. That was actually better, because then what would happen is my Skrull would ult, kill the Rogue, Apocalypse, Agatha, the next wave would spawn in, and instead of having to take turns before the Morgan, I would be able to, first of all, either stun the Morgan with the special from Moonstone, or give her defense down and a bunch of people defense down with the ultimate for Moonstone, and then you Winter Soldier special the Morgan. And if your Winter Soldier has 7 red stars and the defense down lands on Morgan with your Moonstone being a skirmisher, the Morgan just instantly dies. But here, I have to use a special. I have to land the stun. It's unfortunate because I would really, really rather not use the stun at all in this. I'd rather wait and hold on to that for the final node, but we don't need it for the final node per se. So it's not the end of the world. Now, we can leave with all 3 of these characters very much alive on this node if we're careful. If we just wait until only Skrull is getting targeted, he's just going to heal himself through it, and we're going to be able to get through it that way. And I do suggest that. I really like having Winter Soldier and Moonstone for future nodes. If you only want to build up 5 characters for this section, then you're going to have to. Winter Soldier here is going to completely erase the Red Hulk. Winter Soldier threw me for a loop with the amount of damage he was bringing in at Gear Tier 18. It was kind of crazy. And with super low cooldowns, he's able to go from node to node quite easily. So here I'm going to go ahead. I get that offense up off the Nemesis. Unfortunately, no stun outside of raids, but it is what it is. Skrull will then flip those abilities or those buffs off the enemy, which is great. Winter Soldier takes a little bit of a hit there, and we just kind of continue on. I start using the basic with Moonstone. We take them out, and you see we're going to leave this node with Moonstone very healthy, but cooldown's not ready. Winter Soldier does have his special ready, and Skrull is ready to go. Skrull had his ultimate and his special. We need to go every single node. We want to have Skrull ultimate no more than 1 turn off, and we really want to have that special available. On this node, you can get away with not having the special available, but if you have this particular green fella, Lizard, then you do want to have the Skrull special available. It's going to make this node really trivial. So I'm going to go in here now, and I'm going to use Lizard, Skrull, and again, Winter Soldier. And this is going to be very impactful in the sense that we get to trivialize the initial wave here. With the Lizard using his ultimate, he steals all the buffs off Black Cat, puts a vulnerable out there. I do have Skirmisher on Lizard to make sure that always happens. Skrull's going to go ahead and do a nice rewind, and then Winter Soldier is going to just erase the Black Cat like he did the Red Hulk in the node before. So you see all those damage comes through. The ISO attack from the Winter Soldier gets through that death proof, and now she's going to bleed out. At least she would if we didn't have another ability from Skrull. So we basic with Skrull. We're going to save that ultimate for the next wave. Now here's the thing. You cannot use Lizard on the final node. You simply cannot, because it gives the enemy Skrull the advantage. I apologize for the lag. This is a pre-recorded thing. Every single time I went to the Kyle Tower, sorry, it was laggy like crazy. I couldn't get footage that didn't lag out. Really, really annoying. But anyway, the second wave drops in. That's when I'm going to use my Skrull ultimate. I want to murder the Robbie Reyes, and I want to take care of that Vol basically before Beta Ray Bill comes in. Otherwise, she's going to get a bunch of buffs. If she reaches her ultimate, she'll bring everybody back from the dead. Super lame, because it's bugged, and they've known it's been bugged since the Red Hulk Scourge when Nico was bringing back 10 plus people. But I digress, okay? So, we're going to do what we can do to get through the Vol with the adjacent damage coming in from Lizard. We're happy that it didn't go to the Weaver. I will go ahead and rewind the Weaver. The enemies that are left on the field right now, it's going to take a long time to kill them, particularly the Beta Ray Bill. Because we had Vol drop below 50% already, we don't have to worry about Beta Ray Bill taunting, which is great. And now, I know I have Titania, and I know I have Zombie Juggernaut. So he's going to be the last character we're going to use here because we don't have Venom. So I don't care if Winter Soldier and Lizard die. In fact, if they die, I'm more likely to get enough turns for Skrull to have his ultimate available, which he now does. He now is only one turn away from his ultimate. If the match ended right this second, we'd be perfectly fine. So you don't need to stall out. You have more than enough turns taken if you wait for that second wave to drop and then you ult to still get it back up. So we go through the rigmarole here. Weaver's going to get her charges up. Lizard can't really help. I think Lizard dies. Skrull, he's healing. He's getting barrier over and over and over again. He's got an unavoidable basic, so eventually he's just going to take the Weaver out. I think she does like a giant heal at some point. So there's the stun on Skrull. She'll get stunned in return. Immediately shakes it off, but so does my Skrull. Lizard gets his taunt up, and then Weaver promptly ends his life. And so you see, Skrull is completely, with all of his cooldowns, he just took care of the Weaver, and now we're ready to rock and roll. I know I still have Moonstone. I know I have Juggernaut. In fact, on this account, I think I have 2 more characters as well. I think I also had US Agent. I had Swarm that I had absolutely no use for. And so, yeah, US Agent, I got Swarm, I had absolutely no use for. But yeah, if I had Venom, guys, it's just Skrull, Venom, and 3 Chuckles that if they die, they die. But if one of them can survive from node to node, then you only have to bring up one other biovillain character. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we won the coin flip. Now, because Kestrel spawns with 1 buff and Zombie Juggernaut spawns with 1 buff, you need to keep resetting this until your Skrull wins the coin flip. Skrull won the coin flip. We do the turn meter rewind. I'm going to go ahead and do a bunch of damage onto the enemy Skrull. Procs his passive. That's kind of a good thing if we're worried we can't one-shot him. Now, Zombie Juggernaut is going to get controlled, but now that passive has been procced on the enemy Skrull, we ult, he's completely dead. And this node is now trivial. Because we were able to get rid of that Skrull very quickly, it's trivial. We're going to put defense down on on Kang, and then we just want to kill the Kang. The stuns that come from Nova and Black Cat are super annoying, and they could force you to do a reset if Skrull gets absolutely targeted, or if your Moonstone dies too quickly, or if you want to go into that last Apocalypse, who's the last enemy on this node, with all your characters up. You could keep resetting it. You see here, Skrull does get stunned. It has the trauma on it, unfortunately. Even if it's the Nova throwing the stun, it will land and it will hold, because Skrull's passive is broken. He doesn't clear his stun if he can't throw it back on the enemy for some reason. Don't ask me, I don't know. But the best part about these 2 characters is because they're so tanky, we can kind of ping pong between them, let them heal up until our Skrull has his ultimate available. Because we want Skrull to be again, no more than 1 turn away from his ultimate when the final Apocalypse drops in. Now, I don't really need to stall it here, which probably means no one does, because everyone's going to have the same power character Skrull, who's doing all the damage here. Moonstone and Juggernaut are doing absolutely nothing here. So we get through the Black Cat first, so we kill the Kang, then we go to the Black Cat, and then we're going to finish up on the Nova. We now have everything available in all of our characters, but nothing really matters except Skrull Special available and Skrull Ult available. So don't waste those abilities here. You don't have to. You can just kind of reset this node a bazillion times until you get the right RNG. When this Apocalypse drops down, we're going to end his life lickety-split. Basic comes in, we'll do 1 more basic, and this is the importance of having Moonstone at the appropriate skirmisher level. She's putting 2 vulnerables out, 1 for Juggernaut, 1 for the Skrull. We do the special here that's going to give us offense up for when we do our Skrull ultimate. That's the Apocalypse passive that just procced. So do as much damage as we possibly can. He's now going to do his special. That's going to do a heal. It's going to give him defense up. Skrull ults here. If you just want to reset until Skrull kills the Apocalypse here, you absolutely can. I've had Skrull kill the Apocalypse there many, many times. I decided I just want to play it out. Now remember, Apocalypse is not empowered. Very important. None of the Apocalypses in this mode are empowered, so he doesn't get 100% of turn bar. He only gets 60% turn bar. Lets me get a taunt off with my Juggernaut, and lets Skrull finish off the Apocalypse before anything matters. But that Apocalypse would have been going for the Juggernaut anyway, and then Moonstone and Skrull would have absolutely just ended his life. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hate making a video for this because there's very little strategy aside from like the kill order in this thing. It's very cherry-picked footage. I don't want anyone to go away thinking that like, hey, if you use these teams, you should one-shot the nodes. The legendary sections, I did one-shot them all, but that could have been luck. Like I said, it got very spiky with how that quicksort went. This mode is a gear check. It's not a skill check, so if you're struggling with it, don't beat yourself up. It's a gear check if you have it on the right characters. There's some characters you can help to bypass, but like Venom is such a better character. And it's a time sink. You're going to be doing lots of resets. If you want to check out the VODs where I was going through the learning pains here, on both accounts, I think it took me about an hour on the smaller account and then about half an hour on the big account. And I have a very, very big account, right? So if this is taking you 2 hours to get through, but you do have your Nightcrawler, your Gambit, your Rogue done, and you do have either the 3 Horsemen done, or you got Doc Ock, Goblin, Black Cat done, and then you got Skrull and a bunch of people you can put around him, you can get through this section. It might take you a bunch of resets, and that's when you're going to have to decide if the rewards are worth your time. If you already have a 3 Diamond Gambit, I think that really mitigates the amount of rewards. I think it's like, I forget what I got. It was like 100 or 200, maybe 200 Dark Diamond promo credits for it. So if you don't have the 3 Diamond Gambit, I think that really waters down the rewards, and then you can pick from there. But this is going to be the last video we're going to do on the Kyle Tower. I wanted to show you can get it done without Venom. I hope this finds you well. If it does, make sure you leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you have any questions on any other problematic floors you've been struggling with, let me know, and I'll try and answer that probably on stream, and then I can maybe point you to that stream and timestamp it for you or something like that. Because I know a lot of people have been asking questions, which is why we showed the Asgardian node. This video has already been too long. Have yourselves a great night and a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.